Hello, wherever you are, whoever you are, if you're a bit partial to the classic that is known as the sausage roll, I'm going to do you a favour. I'm going to show you how to make my awesome sausage rolls. Now, before we go any further, if you're watching this and you're a vegan or vegetarian, this one ain't for you, okay? These are classic sausage rolls, but with my little twist on them. And it ain't that much of a twist, but it just works. So if you do exactly what I do and what I'm going to tell you to do, you can't go wrong. And you'll end up with some really, really nice sausage rolls. So before I start, just a little bit of background. When I was at school, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, when it came to choosing our options, right? I had no interest in woodwork or metalwork or any of that stuff. Sod that. I wanted to do a bit of cooking. Mainly because the girls all cooked. And on our chef's course, there was only me and another bloke, boy, called Philip. He was about 7 foot tall and had a beard. And we were only 13 at the time. He actually, believe it or not, got asked to shave his beard off. Otherwise he'd be suspended. But say no more. Anyway, I came first in our class when it came to sausage rolls. Yes, and Victoria sandwich as it happens, but I got 99% for my sausage rolls at the time. And Philip, bless him, he came second with 97%. Say no more, eh? We are the sausage roll kings, or I was. Anyway, stingy teacher. She could have given me 100%. I don't know what the other 1% I lost was, but there you go. With the chef's course, though, unfortunately, came needlework. And I hated that. Really hated it. Luckily, though, years and years and years later, many years later, in fact, I married a seamstress. So it doesn't matter. So up until about 2 months ago, I hadn't made a sausage roll since about 1981 when I was 13. Always bought them. But they were generally mass-produced with no flavour, really bland. If you ate them cold, they were horrible. Apart from Morrison's, which I'll mention in a minute. If you warmed them up, they were slightly better. But there's nothing better than making your own, in my opinion. A few years ago, I thought I'd found a good sausage roll. Not that I go looking for sausage rolls, but I thought I'd found a good one. And that was in Morrison's. And they did extra long sausage rolls. I think they were £2 for 4. And they were lovely, cold or warm. Didn't matter. Now, I ventured to Morrison's a couple of months ago, thinking that they would be exactly the same as I remember them. And they weren't. They weren't half as nice. So what I did is I came home and I made my own. So what we're going to do is make some of my classic sausage rolls. So before we start, what you need to do, okay, is turn on your oven. Turn it on, all right? 180C. I think you can do a Google search, but I think that's gas mark 4. Ingredients? Well, the ingredients you'll need to make 12 nice sized sausage rolls. We're actually going to do 6 big ones, but then you chop them in half. And if I did all right at maths at school, so that is 12 nice sized sausage rolls. Now, when I say nice, they are nice. So, what do you need? Right, first of all, 1 egg. Okay, you've probably got an egg somewhere. That's for the look. They've got to look nice. Do you know what I mean? You do a little glaze on them. Then you need some sesame seeds. If you haven't got any sesame seeds, don't worry. I don't know what happened with my voice then, but don't worry. That's for the, look again. Just think of it as like the little sprinkles, little glitter over the top of them. Then you need some streaky bacon. And what I would recommend is 4 rashers. Now, I've got my stuff from Lidl. So you get about 14 rashers of streaky bacon. You only need 4 of them. And what you need to do is chop them up into little bits. And I find the easiest way to do that is use some scissors. All right, make sure you wash them, but use some scissors. And then make sure you wash them afterwards as well. Because like if you need to, I don't know, cut some paper, you don't want bits of bacon over it, do you? Or if you're cutting someone's hair, don't want bits of bacon in their hair. Right, then you need an onion. But you don't need all of the onion. You need half of the onion. So you can use the other half for something else. I don't know. You might want to make some more sausage rolls after, tasting these beauties. So half an onion. So what you can do is, I would personally do the onion bit first. Okay, little bit of oil, chop them up chop it up as finely as you can, right? Really little bits. Put it in the oil, let it on a low heat as well, and just let it go soft. All right, keep an eye on it, but let it go soft. When you think it's cooked, drain it through a little sieve so you get all the oil out of it, and then let it cool down. And there's a reason for that. You'll probably think I'm silly later on when I mention oil again, but yeah, get it out of the onions. Right, next bit, the main ingredient, sausages. I get these from Lidl, 8-pack of sausages. Now, I originally tried 6 sausages when I first did this recipe, and I bought me ingredients from Tesco. But 6 sausages, it wasn't really enough. It was still nice, don't get me wrong. But if you use an extra 2 sausages, and Lidl do packs of 8, it's really, really chunky and lovely. So have a go at that. I've tried normal sausages, as in pork. I've tried Cumberland, and I've tried Lincolnshire. And personally, I prefer the Cumberland ones. Because you don't need to add the salt, pepper or herbs or anything like that. So for this recipe, follow me, get the Cumberland ones. If you want to do 6, that's up to you. But I would say 8 will, I want you to do this properly. I don't want you to go, oh, that wasn't all that good, was it? Like I said at the beginning, if you follow me, these will turn out super duper. Right, so obviously with the sausages, you're going to need to skin them to make sausage meat. That's a bit of a mucky job, so enjoy that one. Then you need English mustard. Doesn't matter if it's Coleman's or not. I've used all of them and they're all just as good. So English mustard. And again, I've got that from Lidl. When I first did the recipe, I tried 2 teaspoons. It was nice. Go for 3. 3 heaped, really chunky teaspoons of English mustard. Then you're going to need, as well, some pastry. Now, there's a reason why these companies make ready rolled puff pastry and ready rolled short crust pastry and all that kind of stuff, and that's because half of us can't be bothered to do it. It's all right if you're Gordon Ramsay or blooming Mary Berry and you're doing stuff really quickly and you know what you're doing, but if you just want to watch this and make some really nice sausage rolls, get it ready rolled. All right, now here's a little tip. I went to Tesco when I first did this, and it was £1.25 for 320 grams of it. If you go to Lidl, again, and I'm not being paid by Lidl to do this, well, I might be afterwards, who knows, but go in there, get their ready rolled puff pastry, and you get 375 grams, so you get 50 grams extra for 80p, okay, which is what a deal, and that accounts for the extra 2 sausages, which works. If you do 8 sausages with only 320 grams of puff pastry, you're going to struggle. Let me tell you that. You are going to struggle. So, again, if you do exactly what I say and what I'm doing in this little video, you will end up with some good ones. And the good thing about using ready rolled stuff is that it's in grease-proof paper. So you don't have to buy any of that, and you don't have to cut it or anything. Well, you do have to cut it if you've got like a small baking tray and there's too much greaseproof paper. Yeah, you can trim it, but that's just a little bit of a tip. Now, here's my little extra. I told someone that I was adding this to my sausage rolls, and they turned their nose up at first. They're yet to try it, but I'm convincing them, and I'm gonna let them try one. But it's sun-kissed tomatoes. Now, sun-kissed tomatoes aren't really sun-dried. Okay, they're just before that. I've tried sun-dried, and it works just as well. So if you can't find sun-kissed, again, in Lidl, you can use sun-dried. Either of them will work, put it that way. So if you chop up about 7 of them, because they're in garlic and extra virgin olive oil and there's herbs and stuff in them. If you cut up about 7 of them into little pieces, using your scissors that you've washed, obviously, then you can scoff the rest while you're waiting for your sausage rolls to cook. You know, that's got to be a good one for the sausage roll maker in a hurry. Seriously. So you can add a tiny little bit of the oil as well. Okay, only a little bit, not too much, because you don't want them to be too slimy, this little recipe. So when you've done all of that, what you need to do is unwrap your puff pastry. Right, so roll it out. Just cover it over with a tea towel, because, you know, you don't know what's hanging around, and like a fly could go on it. You know what flies do? Ugh, don't want any of that. Once you've done that, it's pretty easy then. But if you can't find any sun-kissed tomatoes anywhere, and you can't find any sun-dried tomatoes anywhere, you can make your own. And I've done this, and it is really, really easy. Put your oven on 120, as low as it can, 120 C. Chop up a load of plum tomatoes. Use plum tomatoes because they're the best ones. Plum tomatoes, and put them in the oven and just forget about them for about 90 minutes to 2 hours. All right. While they're cooking, chop up 3 cloves of garlic, really, really small. Put them in a little bowl and soak it all in extra virgin olive oil. Then when your sun-dried tomatoes, or whatever you're calling them, come out the oven, you transfer them all into the same bowl, mix them up, and then let them soak into it in the fridge for, I don't know, a few hours until they're cold and all that stuff. But obviously don't put them in the fridge warm. That would be silly, wouldn't it? So there you go. You've got all your stuff ready. You put it in a mixing bowl, mix it all up, make sure the sausages are all, you know, mixed up properly, and it's like one big paste. It won't look very nice. It'll look like, I don't know, you've had too many beers the night before, or you've had a dodgy curry. But it will taste lovely, believe me. So when you've mixed all of that up, are you listening? I think you are. Yeah, thank you. When you've mixed all of that up, crack your egg into a little bowl and beat that up. Yeah, properly beat it up, because that's going to be your egg wash. All right. Then get your pastry and split it in half horizontally. Okay, so you've got 2 long bits. That's it. Now you can see what I've done, and make your sausage meat into your pastry like a bit of a worm, long worm, and then pat it down, make sure it's all nice and straight and everything. And, you know, you've got to roll this. You don't want any bits seeping out the end. That's it. That's it. That's what you've got to do. Then you roll it over. Make sure there isn't any gaps. Okay? So seal it up properly. And then pat it down. You can do a little pattern on the top if you like. You can see what I've done. Yeah? Like it? Nice, isn't it? And then what you need to do is do the egg wash over it. So put egg wash over it, and then chuck some sesame seeds on top of it as well. Now we're going to cut them. And the easiest way to do this as well is get some warm water in a pint glass with your knife. Okay? And put your knife in the pint glass. Because sometimes if you've got a dry knife and you're cutting through this pastry, half your filling might come with it. If you do it this way, it won't. Okay? So if you're happy that you've got no gaps and everything's sealed up nicely and they look half decent, you should have 2 long, kind of snaky looking things with a bit of egg wash on them and sesame seeds. Don't sound very appetizing, but believe me, it will be lovely. Right, so what you need to do is split each of those long snakes into 3. All right, and that's how we're going to cook them. If you've done those in 3s, you won't go wrong. I've tried different ways of doing these, and sometimes they split up. They still taste lovely, but you want them to look good as well. Because believe me, once you've made these, you're going to want to make them again, and you want to go and tell people and your mates, and you go, I made these sausage rolls, these are lovely, better than the shops. So that's the whole point of me doing this, because that's exactly what happened to me. Right, so get your baking tray, transport the sausage rolls on the greaseproof paper onto the baking tray, and then what you got to do now, put them on the top shelf and cook them for 35 minutes. Don't be tempted to look at them. I've done that a couple of times. Just wait until the end, and then when you get them out at the very end, make sure you got oven gloves on. All right, I nearly forgot once. Just put them somewhere out the way of the dog if you've got a dog. Say no more. And put a tea towel over them and just leave them. Don't be tempted to try them or anything like that. Just let them cool down, couple of hours. They'll still be warm in a couple of hours and they still taste nice. But the colder they are, the easier they are to cut, and believe you me, whatever that means, whoever made up that word, believe you me, but whatever, doesn't matter. They will taste lovely. I guarantee it. So there you go. That's Cooking with G, as in me, Gary. And I might come back with something else. Once you've tried these sausage rolls, you can elaborate. You can do your own little versions. You can add bits if you like stuff. I've done feta, chorizo, and olive, and red onion, and that was lovely as well. Same kind of theory, 35 minutes. Well, I did it for 30 minutes actually with the feta one. But the good thing about feta, because I was going to do goat's cheese, but goat's cheese can melt, and that might be a bit messy. So feta doesn't melt. It stays as it is. I think it's got acid in it or something. Well, not like battery acid or anything, but you know what I mean. I'm waffling. Doesn't matter. Just come back, send me a comment, like it, or whatever you want to do. Show me a picture of your sausage rolls that you made following my recipe. But I tell you what, this is going to be the start of a very nice relationship. Bye bye.